Good evening, all of you. I hope everyone is okay.
Good evening.
Surviving.
Yeah, I think we have to survive really well these days. So let me take you through the agenda for today. And also I would like to say good morning to Laya, and I see Dr. Arul also joining in from Canada. And also it's very late evening for Varna. I see Varna also there. So today's agenda is like in other months. We'll first take you through the past activities we had and upcoming events. Then today we'll first have the interest group update, and then as the last item we'll have the monthly presentation, so that today's presenter Mithra will have more time to make his presentation and for others to have a conversation with him. And if there's any questions other than on the presentation, we can have it as the last item. Ravi, next. Yeah, so we'll keep the questions and comments to last as the last activity. But if you want to ask any questions or make a comment, use the chat function of the this Zoom app. I would kindly request all of you, if you have not paid your subscription for the year 2020, to do so. And also we will be posting your IDs to your residential addresses, because currently only few of us will have access to the office. So the first activity that we had, we had the annual general meeting on the 27th of June. We had it as a virtual meeting this time because of the pandemic situation. And I would like to again take you through the committee. We have Ashan Fernando as the Vice President, Ravi Ranasinghe as the Honorary Secretary. Ravi, you're there. Everyone knows who Ravi is, right? Ashan has not joined. So Naomi as the Honorary Assistant Secretary. Naomi, it would be good to show your face and say hi. Because because we couldn't do that introduction at the AGM. Naomi, you're there? Right. So the treasurer is...
Yeah, was there.
Yeah, so treasurer is Gayan as last year. We have as committee members Romesh, Hiranti, Hiran Varivitigoda, Ranmali Kirinda, Hiran Vikramanayaka, Professor Ravin Hangwala, and Laya. Laya is already, he's on this call
Hi.
as well. Laya?
Hi.
I think everyone knows Laya by now. Yeah, he attends to all our Zoom meetings, right? And also we elected Ajita as our company secretary for this year as well, and the Carter Di Costa will be the auditors. So open judging, we could not capture this. We have been having it continuously on a month basis, but we didn't get a chance of doing the open judging. We have scheduled for this month, but again with this current situation of the COVID-19, we may have to consider having these open judging sessions on Zoom. So currently March wildlife is pending. April, May, June, July, we have to do all sections. Then on the 14th of June, we had a weekend presentation by Laya and on the topic of music, people and photography. So is the first time. I think we have been having a few new topics for the last month. So it's the first time we kind of touch through this topic of music. I know Lad did a good, very good presentation. He shared good collection of photographs, and everyone who participated enjoyed it. And if you have missed it, you can view his presentation on our PSSL video channel on YouTube. Then we conducted a basic Photoshop online in the month of June by Decisive. That's on the 13th and 14th of June. Since there were technical issues, we have to do physical sessions for the participants. On the 24th of June, we had the mini PSSL photo puri with two members presenting, Dr. Mahin Vimadharma and Yoga made the presentations, and also we had a very good participation for those that event as well. We launched at AGM, we said that we will launch a new group. So PSSL Creative Group had their inaugural meetup on the 2nd of July. It's a Thursday at 6:30 p.m. It was a Zoom meeting. So the inaugural meeting, I think around 18 of you joined the session. So when it comes to interest group updates, we can talk, we can discuss it in more details. Then last Sunday, we had a very good presentation by Dr. Jayalat Singha on photographs as a powerful tool to educate road safety. Once again, a new topic, and he had a very good collection of photographs, and we will very soon we will update the YouTube channel. And also there is another request to kind of have a panel discussion on the same subject and to invite more to go beyond members and invite the public as well. So we will have another session very soon on that. So to moving on to the upcoming events, we have planned open judging on the 21st of July, but at PSSL. But now we have changed it to the 23rd of July at 5:45 via Zoom, and most probably there will be a change of judges on that day, because since we cannot hold on anymore to do a physical sessions. So we need to facilitate and issue the points as fast as possible for the participants of the competition to see how best they can compete in the coming months. So it will be on, just make a note that 23rd of July at 5:45 via Zoom. Education programs, we have advertised to have it to start a session on this month on the 25th of July. We'll see how best we can whether we can go ahead or not, depending on the registrations. Okay, so now over to PSSL interest groups update. Ravi, can I just run through it quickly, because I don't see Hiranti has joined as yet. PSSL, Wildlife and Nature Group, they had their session on the 17th June. Rajiv Valikala conducted a session on how to post-process a wildlife photograph. And also for the upcoming events, Hiranti and the team had planned out few activities. On the 29th of July, they will be having a Zoom meeting with Zoom session with Chitra Jayatilak, and the topic of the presentation would be making a photograph in the wild by Chitra J. Then there is a plan to go to Singharaja on the 15th to 16th August. Then in the August month, the monthly meeting, they will have a panel discussion on a topic. Still, they have not selected a topic on a wildlife-related topic, and the panelists would be Ashan Fernando, Devi, that's Raj, and also they will have a guest, and it will be moderated by Inoka. On the 16th September, if the PSSL if we can use the PSSL premises, the presentation is scheduled to be done by Sumit Bandara. The title of the presentation is Wildlife Photography in and around Colombo is Possible. PSSL Glamour and Fashion Group had their workshop on the 21st of June on understanding the basics of Adobe Lightroom. It was conducted by Rajiv Rajpaksha, and they are having a photo shoot on the 19th of July. So if you would like to join the session, I think still the registration open. Ravi, you want to go?
Yeah.
Since you are there, you can take it on from here.
Now, street photography, our last Friday, Sam did a wonderful presentation, Street Beyond the Street. And this month we are planning different thing, show and tell. Each member has to share 2 images and their experience, why they select those pictures and any reason they have to show and tell. So this will happen last Friday of this month, 31st Friday, July.
Okay, so that's the end of all the updates that we have for you, and of course, if you add the PSSL, of course, now the refreshments time. So let's without the refreshment, let's move on to the presentation. So the topic today is going to be decisive moments in travel and street photography, and our presenter is none other than Mithra Weerakone. So as you know, he's one of our past presidents, and he has the benefit. He had the benefit of learning photography at very young age because of his father, who is a very well-known photographer, Dr. M.S. Weerakone. So as a child, he shared with us as a child, he used to be with him and he learned from his photography by watching and helping him in his activities at the studio, as well as during different trips they have gone together. So he kind of got hold of a camera at the age of 15, and then from that time onwards, he had got involved, learned the photography and practice it, and also he had been in the mostly his career also is in and around of is with the camera mostly, and he had worked on television commercials with under D.B. Suranimal and Dr. V.B. Nihar Singha and Telecine, and he said he started with Mrs. Lilani Benson's with her, and then he gone on to work with the Rap Factory. He has directed a lot of commercial photography and the TV CMs. So, and also he has involved in exhibitions with his father, as well as he has done one exhibition in Finland as well. So the exhibitions that he has done is Odyssey of Mine Eyes, and also India through Sri Lankan Eyes. I believe that is with the Indian Cultural Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
through the PSSL.
Through the PSSL, right. So, and also he had done one exhibition in Helsinki, Finland. So he has over 30 years of experience in photography and related areas. So I'm sure that his collection, his presentation today is going to kind of take us through the moments he has captured over the years. I'm sure that is going to be a wonderful presentation, and without much taking much time on this, I will hand over the floor to you, Mithra. Over
Yeah.
to you.
Okay. Now, let's push this. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to people all around the world. I see Dr. Subasinghe from Finland, then Laya from Canada, then I think Nimal from States. I don't know whether my Australian friends are on this because it must be late for them to join in. Anyway, let me go ahead, start straight off with what I started with. I started with 120 Rolleiflex camera, and the first shots I took from my 120 were these shots. I mean, award-winning shots. Actually, now to take from a 120 camera, you have to crank the camera. It takes almost 3 seconds for you to take the next shot. So if you look at the left of the screen, if I had taken another shot, the shadow would have gone into the shadow itself and you would have missed it. So you have to be precise point, you have to precisely take the shot at the correct moment. So same as on the right of the screen, I hope you can get your visuals out of the image box because the whole images will come on it. So you can reduce your visual size and see the pictures in full view of your screen. So again here you can see if you had cranked the second time, the people would have been placed at different places. So it may not have come to the proper composition of the photograph. So this is kind of against the light situation. What I was trying to get is not to let any of the heads be merged together. So on the left side was a 35 millimeter from a black and white negative. On the right is the RB67. To crank the RB67, there are two cranks, one in the front and one at the back. So it takes more than 5 seconds for your next shot. So imagine we had to be precise. We had to make that decisive moment to work when we take photographs from RB67. This is of course from 35 millimeter. This was after one of our PSSL excursions to Negombo. While coming back in the bus, I suddenly noticed this. Actually, the first, I couldn't see the two children first. And I got down and ran to the screen, asked others also to join. So just imagine 1 second later, the boy would have merged with the mother and then it would have been a black blob there. So I was lucky enough to catch the three of them. And incidentally, the three figures were like in the three trees were also, there's a kind of a story in it. So the image speaks 1,000 words here. This, of course, the Negombo, from Colombo to Negombo, at a particular section, there's a rock formation. It is just by the beach side. So there are a lot of splashes that occur here. So it's a great place to go and do your photography, even put a model there and photograph. The lighting you see from the side, and at the correct moment, this person lifted his hands up. So it was, I mean, I didn't plan this shot. Not 99% of the shots are not planned. So in the sense, I have told them to walk or whatever. What I captured were what was in existence. This again is the same kind of thing. This was taken recently. Bandhu was also with me. We diverted from our normal road, from the Goma road towards the sea. And this is what we captured. See the splash that occurs here, it's incredible. So I mean, you can do wonders here, slow motions. I mean, you can do a lot of different kind of photography here. Also, when you're looking at water splashes, it's interesting to take pictures with artificial water. What you call it, artificial means with the hose. So here again, the positioning of the people were crucial, and where it is from, where they are staying is also depicted in the picture. This was taken in Germany. The interesting part was the cloudscape and the single person, single tree on the left side. I would have preferred the man to walk towards the tree, but that means I'll be editing the picture. So I did not edit the picture. I caught it as it is. This again is interesting, the 45-degree lighting that I'm talking about here. Especially like upper areas of the hemisphere and the bottom areas, the 45-degree light stays on also in the afternoons. So it's a photographer's paradise to go to those sections and take photographs. So you're getting your pictures exactly at 45 degrees. This is my friend Damit, who's on this line. His city, or whatever we call it. This is the station that is to get on to go to Helsinki. So I saw this single person. And as you see, you can identify it's going to be a black and white. So there is not much color that you could have caught here. So your eye should be able to decide whether it's a black and white or a color that you're going to take, I mean, a final image. Here we saw the crossing bridges, Bandhu's crossing bridges. We were in Singapore, and I was trying to capture this lady. The shadow of the lady was caught just as the light was falling on him. So you are getting the decisive moment there. So actually what I want to tell you is, don't let the camera dictate terms to you. Be the master of your camera and make it work for your needs. This again also in the same place in Singapore. There was this one guy going up the escalator. So actually here you could have cropped the frame. You see my mouse, I could have cropped it down here and get this guy on the golden role. But I was more keen on the overall effect of the picture. Again, I could have, I think, photoshopped it and got the person getting on the 1/3 down below. But I let it be. Maybe later on, if I feel like, I will do that. This is in India. Of course, here I've done a little bit of Photoshop work. These two ladies were the most colorful there. I'm having some disturbance also. Yeah, you could see the lotus temple in the background, and I've added some skies onto it. I like to experiment with black and white to color, opening up the color sector and making the background black and white. This was in Sydney. This was reflections that I was trying to capture, like as if we are taking from a top angle to bottom angle shot. But this was the reflection of a glass mirror, and I like the pattern of it. And then I saw this lady, a very colorful, dressed very colorfully, walking. And then again, I did that black and white to color opening up. Here in Finland, where I was capturing this beautiful church, and there was this shadow and light playing on the building, and this girl seated on the steps. I positioned this girl to be on the center of the white area, and hoped and prayed that someone else will come there, and waiting gave dividends while this person uh, walked up. So actually in color it is like this, and the second shot I managed to shift a little bit and trying to get the guy also into the white of the area. Also, when you see situations, you must know whether you're going to make it a color or a black and white, and in the absence of color, what you see. So you can see this guy in a white shirt, black phone, the lady in a black black dress and black and white short. Here, this is on the left side. You can see this is in India. These are very. There's a lot of people walk around this road. So I had to wait for a while till no one walked on in front of me and captured this image. So actually, you can see the light fall on it, on the two people, and there's kind of a similarity between these two people and the background. You can see two buildings, so it's 2 and 2, a kind of situation here. On the right, it was a difficult scenario because my focusing or the exposure was to the background, the carvings of the background, and of course 2 people walked, was waiting to capture 2 people coming in. I didn't want to go under exposed. I wanted to see their dress, what they were wearing. So due to that factor, the bottom part of the picture is a little bit overexposed, but I didn't matter. It doesn't matter of that. So when I take a shot, I look at the background. I need to show where it is taken. You can see these 3 kids cycling, and one is also looking at me. You need to feel the coldness there. So that's why I've gone on to this angle and capture them. So the shutter speeds are given below. On the right side, you can feel the warmth of the picture, where you can see, it's unusual. The child is in the basket, one child. The other child is actually standing. So it was unusual. So I needed to capture as a freeze, not on movement. So that was this one. Of course, the background looked really black and whitish, and I was looking at this and waited for a person to go on the road. Again, here what I did was capturing the highlight of the bicycle, the person riding the bicycle and the person at the back. So caught this shot at 1/90th of a second. On the right side, well, there was not much of color in it. So it was mostly these people who were wearing black. And again, in my mind, I turned it into a black and white and captured it. Of course, this one of our PSSL shoots. So actually seeing in black and white makes you take better photographs. I also feel all amateur photographers should start with black and white. Only then you will see the highlights and the contrastiness of the subject. Then you add it to your color and you can get a better picture. I hope I'm not going fast on this. This is a photograph on the left side. What I captured was a person going on to the field. But here I missed the first shot and I shouted at him to please go and walk up and down twice or thrice to grab the picture. So I think the second picture is this. Here again, it was like a pun on it, like my title would say, "Come here, you cow." So I mean, no offense to ladies. So I captured this in the misty place. This is captured in Matugam. This became a very controversial picture. What happened was I took it on a Saturday, and posted it on Facebook on Sunday, and Tuesday someone had put it into the papers. So actually I had even put my copyright logo, and that person has erased the copyright logo and put it onto the paper. I mean, that means he knew he was doing something wrong. And I called them and told them about it. On the next day, they ran an apology by way of giving the name of my name on the photograph. So your photograph belongs to you. You have to fight for it, I think, and not let anyone else take credit on it. So I feel that all of us should, get together in situations like this and make sure that our photographs are not used without our permission. Yeah, now from the mist areas, you can see on my presentation, it will be going on from various sectors to sectors. I've arranged it in such a scenario. Here, the mist, of course, there are issues when you take mist, thick mist and rain. It's very difficult to pierce the mist and take the pictures. So you can see a little bit of noise on it, but even then you capture the moment. I suppose one lady is giving shunam to the other lady, and of course the third one is balanced on the left side, and there's a dog also in the middle of it. On the right, again taken from a 120 Rolleiflex, you can see these two. You could see only the blacks and the whites here. Color, I don't think I would even notice this in color, because when in a Rolleiflex, you always think in black and white. So even now, even when I take a photograph, if I can see it in black and white, I take the photograph and then transfer it into black and white. This is water dripping down a glass plane. This is in Australia on the left side. And this girl came up to the water glass and was trying to touch it. So I captured at that moment her expression, and she looked like a doll when you look at her whole figure. On the right, it's a mobile shot, of course. The interesting part of it is the reflection. You're shooting through the glass. Anyway, it's very difficult to focus because of the mobile. It tries to focus to the foreground, the glass, or try to go to the back of it. So the color is also shown on the water droplets that are falling on the glass. Here you could see I had never seen snow before, but when I went to Australia, I was keen to go and see snow and take pictures. So you can see the leading line, the fence going all the way from left to the middle of the screen, and this lady walking behind his son, who was going on a sledge or whatever contraption that he was playing with. At the background, it was not people, if I remember right, it was a board, which was like it was kind of collapsing board there with photographs of people skiing. Here on the left side, I was going in the lift chairs, and I captured the lift chairs on the left side, which again I saw it as a black and white. And on the right, what I was trying to capture here is trying to single out people. Right, there are about 30 people here, and I was trying to capture them not merging to each other. So I think I succeeded with about 26 people individually captured in this image. So you have to wait patiently. If you're searching for something, wait patiently for that exact time to click your photograph. This is in Thailand. Again, the decisive moment of capture is not let these two merge together. So I managed to capture it, them not merging together, and the expressions or the movement was captured like this. Here again on the left is what you see, and again my eye went into my black and white era, and I thought, yes, it's very good. It should be good in black and white. This is in Udapur. Now here the people are walking. You can see the background, what it is, the area that they are coming in from. They are going for a festival, and here all of them are ladies except one boy following behind, women to the front. All of the women are without slippers. They are walking in the hot sun and walking pretty fast. So of course you leave a space in the front when you take pictures like this. I have I have another slide at the end of the presentation showing the area where this happens. I'll talk about it when it comes there. This is in Japan, the station, Shinkawa station. Well, I tried a slow motion shot on this, so to see the movement. So you can see the shutter speed of 0.7 seconds at 7.1 seconds. It was interesting to show a slow motion shot. Of course, there were a few blobs because people were standing together, so I had no control over it. I think if you do some editing on this, you can really make a difference. But showing it as it is better than editing the photograph. This was in Singapore when we were on crossing bridges. Again, a slow motion shot, 1/4 of a second. I had to use a neutral density filter and a polarizing filter to get the shutter speed down because it's completely on daylight, and again created not any of them to cross each other and make a blur on them. The background was very colorful. I didn't put in color there. These were what was existing there in Singapore. Saturation was, of course, given up on the Photoshop. Here also it was an interesting situation. You can see the shutter speed at 1/3 of a second. We are hand holding it at this point. But you see on the right side, the people are fairly in focus. Why? Because our movement is going parallel. It's like a parallel elevator. I don't know what you call walking elevator. So whatever that is moving at the same speed as what I am going is caught in focus on the other side, except whatever that is moving, there's a moving object, stationary object, they will go at as out of focus or blurred. This is in Patunam, where in Thailand, where people after 5 o'clock, they take their stuff, what you call their clothes, and go to the warehouse. They actually run with their these hangers. So actually it's like playing billiards when you take reflections of glass or whatever. It's not, the reflection is not on the front of the person who's taking, he's hidden behind the clothes, but reflection of the other hangers that you can see. He's walking, you can see if I had captured a second later, his head would have gone onto the line of the glass. Here is interesting in Helsinki. There is a kind of a story being told here. It's the first time I saw in Helsinki a poor lady. I don't know whether she was from Helsinki itself I presume it is from other areas like Estonia coming there. So here the story is like you can see the well-formed legs, not only the legs, but even the mannequins well-formed. They have made beautiful legs there, but she is without legs. So she's begging, and I think this lady is about to give something to this lady. On the right side, I was intrigued by this dress and the stockings or whatever she was wearing, and of course leaning on a shoe uh, shop. So it was capturing shoes of different kinds. Even the people walking, you can see boots and uh, boots plus walking shoes and different kinds of shoes. I wish there were more people on this shot because the foreground looks a little bit bare. Here again, when I want to crop, I crop it the way I like it. So uh, whatever anyone says, I would crop it in whatever way. Now this guy is smoking a cigarette, and the smoke you can see coming out of the cigarette. Also the kid, torn trousers, not torn, but this is the fashion of this era. And on the right, these three were looking at maps and all that, and I was focusing on them. The lighting was nice. So ultimately, she notices the name board where they have to go. So the action and their positioning was critical in this decisive moment. This was also very interesting. I joined a group of Melbourne photographers, street photographers, and we went on taking photographs. So this girl was stopping everyone from coming in, going into. There's a construction being done there, and she was stopping people from going across the construction. And this violinist, street violinist, was playing, and she started dancing. She went on for quite a while, but the guy was not very, the violinist was not very happy with us photographing him. Ultimately, he said for us to get out. so so that was the situation here. So you must have a little bit of fun in photography, and I tried my fun in doing this kind of shot. I mean, it's a Photoshop work that I've done here. Here again, this was in Helsinki. The person was blowing soap bubbles. It was huge soap bubbles. The first time I've seen such huge soap bubbles. And I could see, I wanted to capture people inside the soap bubble, and this is what I got in the end. This was also interesting, the way these ducks were walking, and all attention to the right of the screen. Even the child was walking, following the ducks with his hands in a quite a different position. Sometimes when you take a picture, you make your imagination run riot. So here you take it like in the sense, okay, official meeting, maybe a date, maybe lovers meet up. So it gives you pleasure into thinking what must be happening there, especially when it comes to people. Here it was also interesting, this guys, I was concentrating on this guy. He was wearing a red trouser, red shoes, carrying a kind of a handbag. His kit was completely beyond, imagination. Then of course a lady comes up. Then what would you think? Oh, flame, or flame. So I mean, you make stories on your own, and you get the pleasure out of it, and you get a smile in the end when you click the shot. Here, what I saw was this guy was doing the painting, and I waited. I was wondering how he was going to, what was his reference. So actually, another place what I saw, they had a digital, I think, laptop on it. But this guy was looking at a photographic image. So I had to wait for a while till he turned the image towards my side to capture. And of course, painting on the streets of Estonia. Uh, as you can see, he is painting the vase upside down. So, and also the chair, I don't know how long it's going to last for him in that small chair. So it was also interesting. This was also, this is in Helsinki. It was an art month, and you could see, I mean, this was completely beyond my imagination how, what kind of dance this is. They didn't see any fun in this, but they seem to enjoy it. But the expression doesn't show that. I mean, it was like a horror movie face that she was making. And on the left side, on the right side also, you could see people I mean, bent in different angles, trying to dance. What kind of dance, I didn't know what they were doing. Here, my story is leaves are falling from the tree, as well as this girl's trouser is also falling apart. Pieces are falling on the ground. So this is the secondary mind that I had, secondary thought that I had in my mind. Here, different cultures, the way they react, the way they are in Japan, which are taken in Japan, and their traditional dress. They look very quiet and, very serene kind of look in them. But the Westerners, it was this bubbly, laughing. This is what I captured on them. Some were posing for me, some were posing for another photographer. And they were willing, quite willing to pose. This was quite first time I've seen this kind of hairdo. So actually this is kind of a record that I want to show you. What hairstyle does to a person. So one side you can see shot is on the left side, the plan shot. These I asked them to pose for me, and they pose. So it's the same girl here, and this is the same girl. So you can see how looks can change a person by his or her hairstyle. This was also again some hair situation with the light was fairly dull inside the cafeteria. This guy was playing on with this girl's hair, touching the hair. It was going on for quite a while. And the guy on the right had blue hair. So I thought it was interesting to capture these things. And oops. Right. And this was really interesting. I had never seen guys taking ticks out of these girls' hair. So this guy was doing it. So you can see the what you call. They may be husband and wife, brother and sister. I wouldn't know, but in the background you can see what kind of house they are living in. But like caring and loving husband doing this. This you will think it's a warm day, but you can see from clothes it's very cold. This is in Abevela. During that period, here it was maybe around 10 degrees, but early morning it was around 5 degrees. So probably she got dressed up. She came to the place early morning, maybe less than even 5 degrees. It was 5 degrees in Aurelia, near the lake where I went to photograph the sunrise. So this is I love the cold weather. That's why most of the pictures are in the cool climates. This picture was taken in India, and I once in a blue moon use external flash triggered by the pop-up flash, which I reduced to about 1/3 its power, and trigger the right flash, which is the main flash. So trying to give the highlight and get the smoke, get the effect of the smoke coming into her. So this is people area. Again, I captured them on the move. You're focusing on them and capturing them wherever that is colorful. This guy in Singapore looks pretty colorful. Uh, and his expression was expression. Normally we love the guys to have long beards. That gives an interesting facial look on them. On the right side, this guy, you could see what kind of he's he's a poor person, and he had got I think a cup of tea, free cup of tea from the kade. So you can see the expression on his face, capturing expressions of older people is interesting on the go. This is a vertical follow-up shot that I did. Here in Singapore, you can see there the background I blurred. I took this shot first, and then I went up to her and I wanted to improve on the shot. She refused to take the picture. On the right side in Australia, we were I was with the Melbourne photographers. This guy was keen to be photographed. So you get these kind of people, some don't want to be photographed, some want to be photographed. This guy had just taken the specs down and I took the photograph. Of course, post-processing HDR work was done on this. That's why you can see kind of all the details on the coat and space have come out beautifully. Also, this is a dying art in what you call ironing in Sri Lanka. So I don't know after this generation whether we will lose it. It's good if you get a chance like this, capture them as soon as possible, because I don't think the next generation will do this anymore. So on the left side, taken in Kalpit here, you could see I have opened up a bit of color on the area where where the fire is. Actually, I could have introduced more fire into this from an outside image, but I let it be shown as and what I captured. On the right side is in Ambalambada. Again, I saw this picture, saw this situation. Light was falling from the roadside, and I went in and asked permission. Again, I think in post-processing we can improve a situation with putting in smoke near the iron, or I should have got some water sprayed on it, but both were not very friendly to do that kind of situation. This again is a tea service in Japan, and what I captured were one was drinking and other wasn't, at least to show what kind of cups they use. So again, use a bit, HDR toning to get the details on the dresses. It looked flat when you don't do some HDR work or work on the Photoshop. This was also interesting. I saw this priest walking on a pathway, but there were two paths leading, one to the left of the screen and one by Ruan, near Ruan. This is in Ruan Decisive. So there are small stupas on the corner of Ruan Decisive. So I actually had to run pretty much back to get to a point that I could capture this and hope and pray that this monk will come along this route. So this was came to a position. It was on a 70 millimeter. I was on a 72 300 lens. So at 70, I could just manage to capture the whole frame as it is. So actually now in a seconds later, would this priest would have got merged with the Dagaba, and I had positioned this. The tree was also I positioned it at a point where I can click it at this point. So there was luck also in it, but managed to capture it. Here, the famous Nallu Kovila. Of course, we see this Kovila during festival times, hordes of heads. But here, the character is what I caught here. And you could see even his bag was yellow and red, also matching the background. So I would have liked if this person was on the left of the frame, but caught it. There was no other solution other than to catch what I got. This was also very interesting. The first time I saw confession being done in the open. So you can see how engrossed the priest is listening to the confession. Also, he must be thinking how many Hail Mary shall I give her for our fathers. Of course, there are two birds also caught in the frame. They are not not hearing what she is talking anyway. This is the graffiti wall in Melbourne. So you can do wonderful photographs on this. So of course the smoke and the graffiti, actually I introduced another graffiti from another area to the shot. A little bit of post editing. Here again I saw this situation, I wanted to capture protest, and after that I introduced Bus to add more color to it. Sunsets are difficult subjects to capture. So this guy was trying a selfie from a DSLR. Just imagine you can capture a selfie with a DSLR. So he took a couple of times I had a good amount of time to capture this guy trying his selfie. On the right side, again, you can see this is the Sydney Opera House. I waited for quite a long time to capture these individuals separately without merging each other. So just imagine the time taken to capture and clicking at the correct time, correct thing is now when you click the shutter, actually you see the image, then everything runs through your mind up to the point you click the shutter. Then even when you click the shutter, the camera's mirror goes up, the shutter goes up. So there may be you may be having a delay in that photograph what you see. So sometimes anticipation and clicking it maybe a V-second earlier, you get the shot into place. So I don't know whether the mirrorless cameras, that sector of the shutter going up, timing 1 millionth of a second maybe, but that millionth of a second is also important when you're taking your decisive photograph. This was taken in Buddha Gaya. I actually moved into, got into my 52 millimeter, trying to get more aperture on it, and I have used 1/10 of a shutter and f5. It was just getting dark. The sky was getting dark, and captured this person reading the Dhamma by a candlelight outside in the garden of Buddha Gaya. This was in the Ganges, and people come here to float their vows. So I captured the image with the lighting that was in existence. So you can see the ISO Marshall is 2000 over 2000. Is 1/30th of a second. I don't have, my camera doesn't go up to 50,000 ISOs and things like that. This was interesting. This actually this was during the Vesak celebrations. I was carrying my tripod to take night photography, And from a tent, I saw this light emitting. And then when I looked through, I saw makeup being done. She was holding a camera phone, which had a light on it, flash torch. So while she was holding it, the other girl was doing her makeup. This is from a 120 Rolleiflex camera. The area that I'm talking about, I mean, you position yourself to know where the net is going to fall. So you make the decisive movement on that, keeping space from either side where the net will be thrown. This is mainly, you can see the patterns that water reflection patterns that I got on this picture. Here again, you see these when you go to capture, especially in Nigambo, to capture the net throwing. On the left side, actually, you keep that area. You must know to keep your area. And if you were on a very close up, you would have got only half of the net. So you have to know how much the net will spread. On the right side, it's a midnight fishing. It's midnight fishing in Batikro. It was past midnight when I took this photograph. So there again, actually I used an external flash away from the camera with orange kind of filter to make it more reddish. I could have cropped it, taking these lights out. These are lights on the other side of the lagoon, which is the Kalpitia, the Putlam area that you could see. This again, the water splash I was telling you about, this happens in Moravala. This happened in Moravala. From here onwards, the rock surface that goes by the beach, from here it goes under the sea and to the sea. So this is an interesting area in Nigambo to go and photograph. If you go during the rough sea period, you can watch the waves. Again, I think PSSL should do a photo shoot with a model on these water spray areas. Now children, so when you go on the road, you see these children playing around and you capture them. You capture the environment, what it looks like, and the lighting, all that gives the real Sri Lankan look about it. I love to show my country to other people around the world. So this again, capturing at the correct moment. You can see all of them are not, none of them are merging with each other. See, like this guy is playing this, people are playing, this is in Kalpitia, and capturing at that correct moment where splash of the water and the ball is seen. Washing of vehicles and things like that. So this guy, probably he doesn't want to use his home water service. He would come up to the lake and washed his three-wheeler here. So you could see a person balancing, and the tree was also a lovely tree, and positioning them in this point. Here, these guys are washing the tractor, pouring the water, and you're capturing it at the right moment when the pouring of the water happens and the water splashes. So these guys know their terrain. I mean, we wouldn't want to get into a waterway on this if there are crocs around in the waterway. So they know their waterways. Our country is full of lakes and lakes where we can take lovely pictures. It's a paradise, photographer's paradise. Here, you could see this was on a PSSL our trip to Polonnaruwa. So this was captured against light. You can see the splash of water and the light against the light creating the highlights. I'm sure even this is very good on a black and white. Here again you can see the beauty of the nature. I mean the village, how they go up to the well and get their water. Even the cows come up to drink the water. Maybe it's soapy, but they seems to drink it. So capturing them, the lighting, correct point of clicking is very important on your decisive moments in photography. This was also interesting, where the children were having a bath. Actually, they were washing their clothes, wearing long trousers. So they, they washed their clothes wearing longs. And here, I mean, you would love to go there and have a cool well water bath and walk up to the edge of the paddy field, look down on the field. I mean, you would like to be there. That's what photography is all about for me. I would love to feel the place. Here, uh, this is up country. There is not enough time for the clothes to dry up, so they dry their clothes on the rooftops. So the heat of the roof. This is also on one of our PSSL tours that we did to Badulla, where we saw this beautiful lineup. And here again, you can see I captured the image when she raised this banyan. From the banyan, the face is lit up. It's like a soft box effect coming onto her face. This again was interesting. It's in Ambevela, the cold time. It's in January. I think you can imagine what it is, but I liked it in black and white, so I converted it to black and white. So while getting your shot, think of a title. So here there are a lot of titles that I thought about. You're meeting new school friends, it's a cold morning, or you're gossiping about new schools and getting back to school. Here on the left side, I've got captured this image from a bus. So from the angle, you're angling it down because the bus is at a high angle. And you could see I have captured all of them. The faces you can see. So capturing them at that correct moment without merging. You have to think of the background when you're capturing photographs. Not only the subject matter, also the background is very important. On the right side, I saw these people walking up, driving and focused and stopped the engine to reduce the vibration and waited for them to come up, and they gave a lovely smile while holding a bottle or whatever in his hand. This was like a candid picture. Normally what would happen is the father would take a picture of the mother and daughter, but it was interesting to see the child trying to take a picture of the father and the mother. This is a situation I thought I need to find another angle, so I went into a different angle and of course did a little bit of edit, getting the board a little bit closer to the people. So actually it was, you relate to your childhood sometimes. Maybe you have missed with your sons or your dad or mom or close they were. And two stories can be told on this. One is about modern technology and about family closeness. It's always mostly a mother with two boys. It's hardly you see a dad with two guys together. Here there is another picture. Actually, I wanted to show this to my daughter who does party work, but I preferred another angle which I had to go down on my knees, ground level. So here again, I wanted to capture the essence of the background, where I am, where I was. Not only the front subject matter, the background also needed. And later on, after taking the picture, I saw, funnily enough, there was a cycle and the two wheels of cycles there. I just can't imagine what it was, whether the train was not moving or train was moving, I can't remember the time count. This was captured in Australia. Here I had a very difficult issue in capturing this subject matter. I didn't want to go close and capture the person. I was on my tele lens, it's about 155 millimeter. I couldn't get the depth of field on this photograph at f11 or 16 even. So I had to go to f22 to get the depth needed, the face to the to the items in front. I think the board was fairly broad. One reason for the depth, to get the depth. So I normally follow that 1/3 in front rule when it comes to this manual focusing. And I also like the arch in the background, but I had to underexpose this to a certain level to capture this image. This is not Prince Harry with the dog, but of course a poor man, and of course a dog is man's best friend. So you can see even a poor person, the love for his pet is there. So I mean, so it's very soothing to see a thing like this. This was captured in Thailand, Bangkok. Well, he's full of his stuff and probably not sold much. And this guy is probably advising him of how to sell his stuff. Again, I think I did a bit of HDR or shadow highlight opening to capture this. Of course, here's another story where there's no takers for these people. So they are waiting for people to come to do their business. The two people who are with their boats are looking glum as ever with no customers, and the workers they are doing their own number with their phones. Again, this is also interesting subject matter. At the point which I took this, I wanted to showcase people are distancing themselves, right? Like when you go in a train, you see people not talking to each other. They are all glued to their phones. So these ladies were far from each other. Probably they don't want to hear their conversations with each other. And I saw the color was not in existence because most of them were wearing black and the other girl was wearing white. So it was perfect for a black and white. Also, the background was red in color, so I thought I will work it with to a black and white. Here again, waterways, taking photographs on the move in the water. Quite a difficult task because every point of shooting is a different shot. You're moving, the other party is moving. So capturing while moving is not an easy task. So you're going in a boat, you can't tell the boat person to stop. Even if you tell him to stop, the boat will certainly move forward. So if I had taken a second later, the head of the Buddhist monk will be the person who's having her hands clasped will go over him. This again is a difficult scenario when it comes to exposure. So the background exposure is very much lower than the front exposure. So you expose to the front. Most of the time, what I do is actually, I sometimes don't look at the exposure meter. I look at the lighting conditions there and use the aperture to the lighting condition that I capture. I think it comes with the story of black and white. During black and white photography, we used to take the film roll. On the back of the film roll, it says 125th f16 for sunny, 125th f11 for cloudy, or the marking there. That's in your back of your mind. So you use that kind of technique when you come to this, because when you uh, uh, when you with your camera focus on to this kind of situation, certainly your exposure is going to read to the back of it. If you're on a spot meter, it's going to read the back of it, and the front you're going to get overexposed. So you have to know your onions of photography and your camera. You have to master your camera before getting into photographing difficult situations. Of course, I opened the back with shadow highlights on the Photoshop mechanism. Sometimes if it is raw, I'll open up the shadow area. This again, at the decisive moment of the capture of the person picking up a fish. And dog is also waiting, knowing, yes, the catch is on, and the dog has also got up, and the man has also got up, got this in umbrella. Here was also interesting, the rivers to the lakes. This guy was shaving his beard, so I tried to open a little bit on what he was doing. I was looking at the mirror and shaving, while his better half was behind with him. But I suppose he is arrogant enough not to get the help of the lady, his wife, to help him on. Here, of course, in the cold climates, capturing them doing the same thing. I mean, one is brushing the teeth and one is shaving. So you have to capture at the right moment. Otherwise, you won't get the extra edge of your shot. Again, on this one is in India. Both are in India. I had to go down to almost to my knees, but I mean, the area was really dirty and the smell was really, really bad. So I wanted to capture it anyway or another and position myself to capture this image of shaving on the streets. On the right, this was taken from a bus. The bus had stopped at a junction, and I managed to open the doorway and take this shot. Again, I remember in my hometown, the barber used to come home and cut our hair. So they used to hang the mirror and cut our hair. So this was like a remembrance of a different type. Here in Singapore, the expressions of these people, something big was happening probably in India, and all these people of Indian origin, I presume, are looking at the screen. No, even in the shop, no one is facing towards the people, but they are just glued to it. This guy in the red T-shirt is holding on to the pillar as if seems to be they're all mesmerized with what was happening. I don't know whether it's the Delhi massacre or what it was during that period. Probably Bandu can kind of give a feedback on that. Here in Japan, this shot was taken on the famous train, bullet train. The capture of the person's reflection. At the right moment when the train was moving, I caught the picture on his reflection. Of course, photography comes with humor in the back of your mind. So it's very rewarding too. So you can see the board on the left, caution women at work. This lady is far in thought and wondering what maybe she's creating something, so she's far in thought. On the right side, I was looking at the pattern and trying to photograph. Suddenly, this girl raised her hands. I don't know for what reason. So I got this at that split second. This again, under a shrine, this guy is drinking a glass of beer, and the board says Thai massage, and this lady also waiting for some clients to come. This was also an unusual situation. These ladies were trying to play cricket, and the brother, the father, what he was doing there, I wouldn't know. So, so the girls are kind of having fun about it, and the father is also looking at them. This again, I suppose the picture will talk about what it is. Probably the priest is looking what he has to eat next. But then after taking the picture a few days back, I noticed on the reflection another guy. I caught another guy. I don't want to discredit, but you can see what I'm trying to tell you. Here again, unusual situations, taken from a bus while moving. This guy was trying to take a call, but actually it's a picture on the bus, and he was trying to press, like as if he's trying to give a call. Of course, on the left side, taken in Finland, Purvo, you could see most of the ladies come out onto the to their outside area to sunbathe. So this was an unusual position, and I managed to take the shot. You can see the light fall almost at 45 degrees, and that singular chair lit up against the black. And on the right side, she is photographing from a mobile camera, and also having with her two cameras, which were DSLR mirrorless, I suppose, but taken from the phone. So there are two aspects to it: the photographic content of it, the backlighting, and you can take it whatever way you like it. Of course, this was a match in Richmond's and somewhere in Australia. Suddenly, after the match was over, this guy came running in, and he was caught and taken away before he started stripping more. This was in Finland, one of those statues that they had, and I got wondering what kind of photograph that this guy was capturing. So it was interesting picture to make you laugh and smile. This is the place that I was talking to you about. This is in Udaipur, where in September this festival happens. There was a major issue on this because they used to what you call slaughter lamb, not lamb, and goats. They used to slaughter goats and then cook outside the kovila. So there was an issue about this of slaughtering. I don't know whether it's still happening. You can see these people carrying heavy, even the stones to keep the pots on. They carry the pots. They even carry all the wood, and with their children they come here. And the whole area is full of smoke. It's a very interesting place to photograph, but I wonder whether it's still happening. Government, there were some issues with the then government, and they wanted them to stop it. This was also interesting. In Australia, I was photographing these subjects. I was concentrating on these statues, the expressions, the sculpture of these statues. So I took several shots and moved back and thought of turning around and taking another shot, the overall view, and I was just flabbergasted out of it. So I didn't want to put this on social media. This is the first time I'm putting this on. But of course, this is not, the sculpture is not Sri Lankan at all. So it is probably another country. There was a description on the right hand writer and the country that this guy has created. So he had brought the whole thing here to showcase in the Melbourne Art Gallery. So you have to be bit of responsibility in posting situations like this in social media. Of course, wherever you travel, be it in the wilds, to look out for that decisive moment of capture. That is very important to get that extra edge that is needed to make the image a lasting one to your satisfaction. So it's not only on the streets, in the wilds, and even landscapes, everything, there is a decisive movement. In landscapes, of course, the movement of the, what do you call it, the clouds and the time at which the light falls on this landscape is important. So, my dear friends, that's all. The presentation.